In the kingdom of the spirit, there is no such thing as a debtor or a creditor. There is only the one, infinite flow of divine supply. Most people look at their bills and their ledgers with a sense of heavy-hearted dread, not realizing that by fearing the debt, they are actually making it real in their subconscious minds. You must realize that your financial situation is simply the outpicturing of your internal mental state. If you feel you owe, the universe will confirm that you owe. But the moment you stand in the center of your being and declare that the King of Glory shall come in, you are changing the very atmosphere of your affairs. To square the account means to bring your mind into a perfect balance where you see neither lack nor limitation, but only the finished work of divine abundance. You must stop talking about what you owe and start talking about what you own in the invisible storehouse of the Father. The subconscious mind is like a faithful servant. It brings you exactly what you prepare for. If you are saving for a rainy day, you are inviting the rain. If you are obsessing over a debt, you are engraving that debt into the masonry of your life. We must use the word to wipe the slate clean. When you speak the word, you are using a spiritual chemical that dissolves the density of the material world. Think of your debts as mere shadows. You do not fight a shadow with a sword. You simply turn on the light. The light of the Spirit reveals that in the mind of God, you are already free, already solvent, and already overflowing with riches. You must act as if your pockets are full, even when they seem empty to the human eye. You must walk with the gait of a millionaire because you are the heir to a kingdom that knows no bankruptcy. The first step in squaring any account is to bless your creditors. Most people send out thoughts of resentment or fear toward those they owe. This creates a wall of resistance. When you bless a person or an institution, you are releasing the spiritual tie that binds you in a state of lack. Say to yourself, I bless every person I owe, and I see them as a channel of divine bounty. As I pay, I am blessed, and they are blessed. And the money is blessed as it goes on its way to circulate throughout the world. This turns a payment into a divine gift. It shifts the vibration from losing money to moving money. Remember, God is your paymaster. You do not look to a boss, a client, or a bank for your supply. You look to the infinite intelligence that knows 1,000 ways to bring you your large place, which no man can shut. You must be careful not to dig up your seeds. Once you have spoken the word of prosperity, do not go back to your old conversations of, I can't afford it, or money is tight. If you do, you are simply neutralizing your own power. You would not plant a rose and then dig it up every 10 minutes to see if it is growing. You plant the seed of the word, and you leave it in the hands of the great gardener. Your work is to keep your vision clear. See yourself writing that final check with a smile on your face. See the paid in full stamp appearing on every document through a miracle of divine timing. There is no such thing as a big debt or a small debt in the eyes of the infinite. There is only the law, and the law is always yes. As you move through this day, remember that you are a spiritual being in a spiritual universe. The numbers on a screen or a piece of paper are just symbols. Behind those symbols is the substance of God, which is the substance of things hoped for. By using the word, you are calling that substance into form. You are saying to the mountains of debt, be thou removed and cast into the sea, and if you do not doubt in your heart, it shall be done. The account is squared not when the money arrives, but the moment you believe you have received it. This is the magic of the spoken word it creates, the reality before the world can see it. You are now entering the secret place of the Most High, where every need is met before it is even felt. To square your account with the universe, you must move from the vibration of waiting to the vibration of having. Many people sit in the armchair of hope, but hope is a weak vibration. You must move into the active expectation of your divine supply. In the game of life, the winners are those who prepare for the thing they have asked for, even when there is not the slightest sign of it on the horizon. If you have spoken the word for your debts to be cleared, you must act as if they are already cleared. You must prepare for your land of milk and honey. You do not buy a suitcase after you decide to travel. You buy the suitcase to tell the universe you are ready to go. To square the account, you must make a gesture of faith. This is the magic touch that signals to the subconscious that the matter is settled. The subconscious mind is a sensitive recording plate. It does not argue. It simply accepts the pictures you give it. If you keep the picture of a debtor in your mind, the subconscious will work overtime to keep you in debt, for it is merely following your orders. To break the spell, you must give it a new command. You must see yourself in the large place. A large place is a Shinn term for a state of consciousness where there is plenty and to spare. When you find yourself worrying about a bill, you must immediately replace that thought with a strong statement of truth. Say, "Divine intelligence, give me a lead. Show me the way to my immediate supply. I have cast this burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to be the channel of infinite riches." The magic of active expectation is that it opens doors where there were only walls. Most people are looking for supply through the same old channels: their jobs, their families, or their investments. But the Spirit is not limited to channels. The Spirit is the source. When you stop looking at the channel and start looking at the source, the sudden opening occurs. A debt may be canceled through a legal miracle, a gift may arrive from an unknown relative, or $1 million idea may flash into your mind like a bolt of lightning. This is what it means to have God as your paymaster. You are no longer dependent on the economy of man. You are working under the economy of the kingdom. In the kingdom, there are no depressions, no recessions, and no deficits. There is only the instant supply for the instant need. You must be careful to keep your expectation focused on the end result, not the how. The how is the business of the infinite. If you try to figure out how your accounts will be squared, you are putting a limit on the Almighty. You are saying, "God, you can only help me through my paycheck." This is a spiritual insult. God has 1,000 ways to bring you your abundance. Your job is simply to dig the ditches. Remember the story of the 3 kings in the desert who were told to dig ditches to receive water, even though there was no wind and no rain. They dug the ditches in faith, and the next morning, the ditches were filled to the brim. If you are asking for financial freedom, what ditches are you digging? Are you preparing your mind? Are you clearing out the mental clutter of old, dusty thoughts of poverty? The word is your wand of power. With it, you can heal your bank account just as easily as you can heal a physical ailment. Poverty is a disease of the mind, a malady of the imagination. When you realize this, you stop being a victim of circumstances and start being the master of your fate. You begin to understand that your word goes out into the ethers and gathers the gold of the Spirit, bringing it into physical manifestation. You must speak the word with a sense of joyful certainty. Fear is the only thing that can stand between a man and his highest good. Fear is false evidence appearing real. It is a lie. The truth is that you are a child of the King, and the King's children do not live in want. As you go about your day, treat every transaction as a divine exchange. When you pay for a loaf of bread, do it with the consciousness of a king. When you see someone else with great wealth, do not be envious. Instead, bless them and say, "I see your abundance, and I thank God for mine, which is also on the way." Envy is a wall. Blessing is a bridge. By blessing another's wealth, you are telling the universe that you are in the same vibration as wealth. You are squaring the account by recognizing that there is no your wealth and my wealth, but only the one wealth of God, available to all who can believe. Stand steady. Do not be moved by appearances. The apparent lack is just a ghost that will vanish when you face it with the light of truth. Your accounts are squared in the divine mind, and so it is in the world of your affairs. In the spiritual laboratory of the mind, the greatest obstacle to squaring your account is the heavy lifting of the human will. Most people spend their lives struggling and wrestling with their financial problems, not realizing that the more they fight a debt, the more they magnetize it to their experience. This is the law of non-resistance. To square your account, you must learn the art of casting the burden. You must hand the entire situation over to the Christ within, the superconscious mind. End quote. The superconscious mind, which knows no difficulty and sees no lack. When you attempt to solve your own problems through panic and planning, you are essentially telling the universe that you are alone and unsupported. But when you say, I cast this burden of debt on the Christ within, and I go free to be plentiful, purposeful, and productive, a great weight is lifted from your shoulders, and the magic begins to work. You cannot think clearly when you are burdened by the fear of the future. Fear is simply misplaced faith. You are having faith in the power of the debt rather than the power of the deliverer. To square the account, you must become spiritually indifferent to the appearance of lack. This does not mean you are irresponsible. It means you are so centered in the truth of your divine supply that the numbers on a bill no longer have the power to disturb your peace. When you are undisturbed by the appearance of a deficit, the deficit must vanish, for it no longer has a home in your consciousness. The spirit cannot work through a mind that is knotted with anxiety. You must relax the mental muscles and let the infinite flow move through you. It is the Father within who doeth the work, and his work is always perfect, always on time, and always in full. Think of yourself as a messenger who has been given a heavy pack to deliver. If you insist on carrying it yourself, you will become exhausted and stumble. But if you realize that the pack belongs to the king, and the king has provided a chariot to carry it, you simply step into the chariot and enjoy the ride. The word is that chariot. By speaking the word of release, you are stepping out of the vibration of struggle and into the vibration of grace. Many people have told me, but Florence, I have so many debts. I can't sleep at night. I tell them that they are sleeping with their debts instead of with God. You must make your peace with the situation. When you are no longer afraid of the debt loses its sting. It becomes a mere shadow, and shadows have no substance. You square the account first in the quiet of your own soul, and then the outward world must adjust itself to your inner calm. Non-resistance is the royal road to riches. When someone demands money from you and you react with anger or shriveling fear, you are resisting the situation and giving it power. Instead, look at the demand and say, in the kingdom of the Spirit, there is no debt. This is a divine opportunity for the manifestation of my infinite supply. I thank God for the means to satisfy every requirement with ease and joy. This is squaring the account with the word. You are using the word to change the quality of the energy. What was once a burden is now a bridge to a greater manifestation. You must be the man who stays out of the way so that the divine plan can unfold. The divine plan for every man is for him to be a joint heir with Christ to the entire treasure house of the universe. There is a magic of the invisible that works when we stop interfering. Just as the birds of the air do not sow or reap, yet are fed by the Heavenly Father, so too are you provided for when you live in the now of your abundance. To square your account, you must stop looking back at past mistakes and stop looking forward with dread. You must stand in the eternal now and declare, my supply is from God, and it appears now in a twinkling, under grace, and in perfect ways. When you cast the burden, you are effectively saying, it is finished. The debt is paid in the mind of God, and therefore it is paid in my world. You will find that as you maintain this state of non-resistance, miracles start to happen. Money comes from the most unlooked-for places. An old debt owed to you is suddenly paid. A gift is given. A new path to prosperity is revealed. This is the reward of the faithful servant, who knows how to let go and let God. In the spiritual alchemy of wealth, gratitude is the philosopher's stone that turns the lead of lack into the gold of plenty. To square your account, you must become a master of the thankful heart. even when the material world seems to be shouting, "Not enough." Most people wait until the money is in their hand to say, "Thank you." But the metaphysical law requires that you say, "Thank you," while the money is still in the invisible. This is the highest form of affirmation. When you offer thanks for your supply before it appears, you are acknowledging that the substance of wealth is already present in the ethers, waiting for your recognition to call it into form. You are not begging a distant God for a favor. You are thanking the infinite provider for a law that never fails. Gratitude is the power of multiplication. Remember the story of the loaves and the fishes. The master did not look at the small supply and complain about the multitude. He looked up to heaven and gave thanks, and the substance increased until there was more than enough to go around. To square the account of your life, you must stop being a spiritual accountant of your losses and start being a divine celebrant of your blessings. Every time you pay a bill, no matter how small or how large, you should do so with a song of praise. Say, "I thank God for this money, which I now release, and I thank God for the infinite return that is even now on its way to me." This changes the vibration of the coin. Instead of losing substance, you are sowing a seed. A seed that is planted with gratitude must, by law, return a harvest of its kind. If you pay your rent with a heavy heart, you are planting seeds of heaviness and lack, and you will reap a harvest of more bills and more burdens. But if you pay with a sense of divine luxury, you are aligning yourself with the opulence of the universe. You are telling the subconscious that you are a person of great means, and the subconscious will move heaven and earth to prove you right. Many people find themselves in a vicious cycle of debt because they are constantly counting what they don't have. They have poverty-stricken imaginations. They see themselves as struggling or barely getting by. To square the account, you must use the word to expand your vision. You must see the infinite storehouse as your personal bank account. There is no limit to the substance of God. It is like the air you breathe. There is enough for everyone, and your breathing in does not take away from someone else's breathing out. When you are grateful for what you have, even if it is just a single penny, you are opening the valves of your consciousness to receive the avalanche of abundance. The man who is grateful for his small room will soon find himself in a mansion. The man who grumbles about his small room will find the walls closing in. The law of increase is fueled by the vibration of appreciation. You must also learn to be grateful for the success of others. This is a secret key to squaring your own account. If you see a friend prosper and you feel a pang of jealousy, you are essentially telling the universe that you don't believe there is enough for you. Jealousy is a wall of lack. It shuts the door to your own supply. But when you truly rejoice in the wealth of another, you are tuning in to the frequency of wealth itself. You are saying, "I see the law of abundance working for my brother, and I know that same law is working for me." This is the alchemy of the spirit. You are turning the success of another into a sign and a wonder for your own life. You are squaring the account by realizing that in the mind of God, there is only one man, and that man is eternally rich, eternally successful, and eternally free. The word of gratitude is the most powerful debt clearer in the metaphysical toolkit. It dissolves the resentment of debt. When you are grateful for the services or goods you received in exchange for your debt, the debt loses its darkness. It becomes a light-filled transaction. You must look at your creditors and say, "I thank you for the faith you placed in me, and I thank God for the divine supply that pays this account in full, under grace, in a perfect way." This sets up a magnetic current of return. You will find that money begins to hunt you down. It will seek you out through strange and happy channels. You are no longer chasing the dollar. The dollar is chasing you because you have become a vibration of welcome. Your accounts are being squared by the hand of the infinite, and your only job is to stay in the high frequency of praise, and thanksgiving. In the final stage of squaring the account, we arrive at the law of completion. This is the realization that in the divine mind, there is no such thing as an unfinished transaction. Every demand contains within it the supply to meet it, just as the thirst in your throat is the surest proof that water exists to quench it. To square your account is to enter the consciousness of the finished work. You must stop thinking of yourself as someone who is going to be free and start knowing that you are free. The Master, Jesus Christ, always spoke from the finish line. He did not say, "God might help me." He said, "Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me." This is the spoken word, at its highest pitch, the declaration that the miracle is already complete in the invisible, and its manifestation in the visible is a spiritual certainty. Completion is the death of delay. Many people are held back by the demon of tomorrow, believing that their supply is coming later, or someday, or when the economy improves. But the Spirit knows no time. To the Spirit, now is the accepted time. When you square your account with the Word, you are commanding the instantaneous manifestation. You must look at your financial landscape and see the harvest already white for the reaping. If you still see unpaid bills, you are looking with the eye of the flesh. You must look with the eye of the Spirit, which sees every debt canceled and every storehouse full. You must be like the sculptor who sees the perfect statue inside the rough block of marble. Your word is the chisel that removes the excess of lack until the masterpiece of prosperity is revealed. To reach this state of completion, you must make the final stand. This is the point where you refuse to accept anything less than your divine right. You say to the appearance of lack, "You have no power over me." You are a non-entity, a false belief, a shadow of the past. I stand in the light of my divine fulfillment, and I call forth my riches from the north, the south, the east, and the west. When you speak with this kind of holy audacity, the universe rushes to obey, the Red Sea of debt parts, and you walk through on dry land. The wall of Jericho that stood between you and your fortune crumbles at the sound of your shout. This is not human willpower. It is the power of the Word, flowing through a channel that is no longer blocked by doubt. You are one with the One, and therefore, you are one with the all of your supply. The law of completion also requires that you live in the large place mentally. You must expand your vessel to hold the new wine of your abundance. Many people pray for a fortune, but have a thimble-sized consciousness. They are afraid to spend, afraid to give, and afraid to dream. To square the account, you must act like a person who has already arrived. You do not wait for the millions to be magnanimous. You start being magnanimous with the pittance you have, and the pittance will grow into a mountain of gold. You must think big, talk big, and act big. This is not pretense. It is preparation. You are signaling to the infinite that you are ready for the big things of the kingdom. You have squared the account by becoming a match for the wealth you desire. As this speech concludes, realize that the word you have spoken today is a seed that cannot fail to bring forth its fruit. It has gone out into the great mind and is even now rearranging the circumstances of your life. The people you need to meet are being drawn to you. The ideas you need to hear are being whispered to your soul. The money you need to receive is being released from its hiding places. You are no longer a debtor to the world. You are a distributor of the king's goods. Your accounts are squared. Your debts are dissolved. Your supply is certain. You walk out of the house of bondage and into the palace of peace. The game of life is won, not by might nor by power, but by the Spirit of the Word that declares, "It is done." My supply is exhaustless, and my accounts are paid in full, under grace, and in a perfect way.